Hello, welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. No, it's Courtney, just kidding. Just thought I would mix it up a little, make it a little more, I don't know why enunciating the T somehow made me think that it was going to sound cooler. But anyway, hi, welcome. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate every single person that has made the choice to purposely and willfully listen to this crazy ass podcast. It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of stamina. Sometimes I'm so babbly and nonsensical that it's a lot to keep up with. So you deserve some credit. Son of a bee's knees, every single time I start a podcast, my dogs could crap like 4 times. And I would start a podcast and they would be like, you know what it's time for? Taking a crap. But I guess that's what I get for doing a podcast while I am walking my dogs all the time. I just feel like I already, cleaned up a mess. So anyway, not a mess, cleaned up poop. It's not their fault, but hello. So what has been keeping me up? What is preventing me from catching sleep? Holy cow, now I'm all caught up in leashes. Good gravy. It's a time right now. It is a time. All right, so what has been keeping me up? I had a purpose. I did this last time I had a podcast. I went in with ambition and a goal and something to talk about. And then I got sidetracked for a bit. And then I came around, because that's what I do. I do come around. I want you guys to know that sometimes I get sidetracked and I may digress. And it may seem like you're going to be like, Jesus. And right when you think you're going to tune me out, right when you think you're going to discount me, don't. Because I make it back around. I do. I circle it back. I circle the wagons. I'm not saying it's, great entertainment when I do, or that I talk about anything great. I'm just saying I do end up finding my way. It may be by, speed bumps, but we get there, dang it. It might be full of potholes. You get what I'm trying to say. All right, so what the heck has been keeping me up? Okay, so, yep, now I remember. I think, I've talked about my neighbors, and I've talked about people in apartments and stuff, and just my surroundings and how I genuinely keep an eye out for things that are out of the ordinary, especially if I'm in an apartment complex, because I think it's not being nosy at all if you know who the normal people are that live in your apartment complex, if you know what the normal cars are, and just, habits. It's not like I'm a stalker. I'm not stalking people. I'm not trying to find them doing something wrong. I'm not a tattletale. I'm not a narc. I don't give a shit what my neighbors are doing as long as they aren't hurting anybody. As long as they're not hurting anybody, then I'll keep your secrets. Even if I see you doing something wrong, I'm not going to say anything again, as long as it's not, harming anybody. You're not putting, children or, others in danger. You're not some serial killer. You're not Dexter or something. But that said, because I am very observant and I like to know my surroundings and I want to know what the hell's going on around me so that I know to kind of have my hackles up and my ears a little more, or my eyes a little open, my ears more aware, I need to know what's out of the ordinary. So I check things out. And I have had neighbors, I won't say what neighbor, but there's a neighbor who I just can't quite wrap my head around. And that's interesting. Oh, I probably shouldn't walk this way. I guess we're doing construction. But again, I'm not trying to be nosy. I'm not a Karen. Again, I don't care what you're doing in your free time. I'm not going to tell on you. As long as, again, you're not murdering people. I keep saying the word again. If this were a drinking game and you drank every time I said the word again, you'd probably already be hammered. But I am just super weirded out sometimes by people. So I'll watch them and I'll get fascinated. And this is like a great reality TV show where I live, because You can watch people of all walks of life doing all sorts of things, and you hear all sorts of things, and it's just fascinating to me. People are fascinating. That's why there are sociologists. That's why there are psychiatrists. That's why there are neurobiologists, because people are just interesting. Some people are weird and some people are crazy, and I don't know what normal is anymore. I don't think there really is a normal, but so I'm obsessed though about some things that aren't quite adding up with, I won't say if it's a current neighbor or a neighbor that I just had, but I don't know. They're just intriguing to me, their behavior, and the fact that I haven't, their car was gone for quite a while, and they seem like they no longer work at their job anymore, but I'm not sure. They seem like maybe they are divorced or separated, but I'm not sure. They don't make eye contact at all, and I just find it weird. If your dog is pulling on the leash and barking at another person's dog, and you have a larger dog, and it's pulling and barking at another person's dog, wouldn't you, especially if you had a uniform on that indicated that you were on a lunch break and you're walking your dog, wouldn't you at least, at the very, very least, no matter how introverted you are, no matter how much of a butthead you are, wouldn't you at the very, very, very least just look up from your hat, just briefly look up from under your baseball hat and go, sorry, or oops, my bad, or tell your dog no, or try to pull your dog away? I just feel like that's normal, right? And so when someone doesn't do that, isn't that odd? And when someone always has their baseball hat pulled down over their eyes and doesn't ever look up, even if they run into you, or even if your dog is barking, I just feel like something's there. I'm not saying they're a bad person, and people are going to be like, oh my God, mind your own business, mind your own business. But it's my business when people live around me that I'm kind of like, I think I need to take note of that just in case. They literally make no eye contact whatsoever. They go out of their way to be, to not talk. And that's fine. I don't like talking. I'm an introvert. It doesn't seem like I don't like talking because you're like, well, you're rambling a lot on this podcast. So clearly you like to talk. But sometimes I talk out of being super nervous and uncomfortable and anxious or really tired. So I don't always talk because I think it's fun or I like it. But neighbors are weird. I've had a lot of neighbors, and I've actually been pretty fortunate and had really amazing neighbors. I had neighbors that were Polynesian, and they made me food all the time, and they were constantly having people over, and they were eating food, and so they would always bring me over food and invite me over. God, that was great. I gained a lot of weight. It was awesome. I was fat and happy. Well, I wasn't fat, but I was happy, and I was fed, and it was great. And I've had neighbors that help you out, that you could go to for, watching a package, getting a package if it showed up, of helping me if I needed sugar or something. I've had a lot of great neighbors. I've had neighbors that are kind and caring and that you can trust. I've been very fortunate. I've had a handful of weird neighbors. I was really fortunate to have to also be living out in the country and having property of my own, and my neighbors were pretty darn far away, so you didn't have to worry about nosy neighbor. I mean, it's still a neighborhood, and a neighborhood is good because it's good to watch out for each other. It does take a village. We have to look out for each other, have each other's back. It's better to get along. It's better to have each other's back than to be fighting. It's better to work together and get problems solved like we did on 9/11, like we do on natural disasters, unless you're apparently Biden, and FEMA, who likes to divide us and not help people that are Republican, and they don't care if people are left to die. But it used to be that we helped each other. And that's how it should be. Keeping an eye out is not being a Karen. A Karen is someone that's just going out of their way to piss people off, to be like, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. Don't do that. And they're nitpicky and they're part of the HOA, that like they're the president of the HOA. HOAs are so fucking bullshit. How does anyone handle that? Don't tell me when I'm paying taxes what I can and can't. I'm paying the mortgage. I'm paying the taxes. Don't tell me what color I can paint my fence, if I can have a fence, what type of plants, what I need to have in my yard. What does that afford me? Are you going to pay my taxes then? Are you going to come landscape my yard then? Are you going to build me a fence then? Because that's what I expect if I'm going to be paying monthly for someone to tell me what to do on my own freaking property that I pay mortgage and taxes on. HOA is they're the most ridiculous thing. It literally, what purpose does it serve? That's a bunch of Karens. Those are the Karens of the world. But you do have to be aware of your surroundings. You know, what if you're in a dark alley? What do? You take note of people. You don't take note of people of color because you're racist. You take note of people and you recognize characteristics so that if anything were to happen, you'll be like, yeah, I saw that person. They were short. They were tall. They were fat. They were skinny. They had this hair color. They seemed, this age. It's good to be aware. It doesn't make you some racist, homophobic piece of garbage because you characterize people as, when you see them, as making note of their race. You can't help it. You look at people's hair color. You notice people's eyes. You notice people's cars and houses. People just collect information. It's collecting information. And judging isn't always bad. Sometimes you can judge people and you're like, wow, those people must be upstanding members of society. Those people must be upstanding members, pillars of society. That's a judgment. They're making a judgment. Just like stereotypes. Stereotypes are there for a reason because more often than not, they're true. That's how they became a stereotype. More often than not, they're true. And most stereotypes about everybody else but white people are good. Black people have that they have big dicks and that they can dance and that they're good at sports. Oh, boo-hoo, do you get a bunch of compliments? I mean, they also get that they are thieves and thugs and gangbangers and uneducated. So you get both. White people get nothing. We have nothing. We get all the bad stereotypes. Blondes, bad stereotypes. Asians get the good stuff. They say they're smart. Same with Indians. I don't mean Native Americans. I mean people from India. Also, stereotype that they're smart. But they also get stereotypes of telemarketers. So, but stereotypes, and when you observe, you just take note. You're just making a note of what you are observing, and that is okay to do, especially if something ends up turning into like a crime. I would suck if someone were like, because I'm really good at taking note of what's normal, and I'm really good at taking note at major things, but I don't remember if someone necessarily was tall or short or fat or skinny. I don't necessarily remember what someone's hair color is. I take note of just people. Like, I'm like, oh, there's these people, and then people in my immediate complex, and then I'm like, okay, there's people out at 2:30 in the morning. What are these people doing? Are they driving a car? I don't necessarily look at the car. I just kind of go dark car, light car, or if it's a truck or not. But I make observations on people's patterns. I don't know. Anyway, I'm digressing, but I'm still obsessing on certain things that I want answers to. I'm like that kid that just always is wanting answers, just searching. I was the kid in school, in Sunday school, that was like, I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense. That can't be true. Explain it to me. Why? I mean, I wasn't always like, why? I wasn't that kid, but I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. That can't be true. Nah, you're wrong. Tell me why you're right. Prove yourself. I was the one that was more like, prove it. Prove it. I'm not going to take your word for it. Prove it. Tell me why I should believe you. Tell me why your way is correct. Tell me why what you're saying is true. Which is probably really annoying for, a lot of teachers and stuff. But anyway. So I encourage people to ask questions. People should ask more questions. Why aren't we asking questions? We should be asking a lot of questions, especially of our government. They are the ones in charge of everything. Of everything. Everything. The government has complete control. They're not supposed to. It's supposed to be we the people. We the people, we are supposed to be in control. But we're just running around, burning down stuff, destroying stuff. And the right people aren't asking the right questions. And then when they get certain answers, some people just take it as face value and they don't delve deep. They don't dive deep and get answers and search for answers. That's what journalism is. That's what journalists should be doing. That is what the media should be doing. That's what the news should be doing. They should be not just taking one side. They shouldn't be biased. They should be diving deep, getting facts, searching. Endless, diligent searching for actual facts and information and stats. Getting all sides of the story. That is what a true journalist is and used to be. And that is what we should do. We should be looking at all sides and gathering facts. Anyway, I'm on another walk, enjoying this beautiful thing called life. Electric word life, it means forever, and that's a mighty long time. But I mean to tell you, there's something else. The afterworld. Okay, sorry. I do that a lot. I feel like Jessica Day on New Girl. But it is fun to sing. She does have a point. It is fun to sing things. Somehow singing things just makes things better. It's like a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Well, sometimes singing helps the bad days go away. Sometimes singing just kind of helps get you through it. So I encourage everybody to sing. I encourage everybody to dance into a mirror or and sing into a hairbrush, to dance around in public, in the living room, wherever. I encourage you to listen to my podcast and tell everybody else to listen to it. I encourage you to look at the things that you can control and just get rid of the blech. Get rid of that. Just wash that ick away. Just wash it away. And what is that one commercial? It's going to wash that something right out of your hair. I can't remember how it went. But anyways, just don't buy into it. Don't feed into all the bull. Be bullshit free. Listen to my podcast instead, Ooh, that's loud. Anyway, thank you so much for everybody that's been listening. I genuinely appreciate you. You are all amazing, amazing humans. Thank you so much. Until next time.